Hello, my wonderful rebradages. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes. I'm sorry I'm a little late myself to get acclimated and sign on in. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are that you are watching our wonderful webinar today. I'm just giving everybody a few minutes. Now, just to get a heads up that this will be posted on a later date for viewing pleasure. Okay? Um, Everyone that could show up, I appreciate and value very much. Before we get started, I'm going to give you guys a nice little breakdown of what our agenda is in hopefully about an hour. Um, so to start, I am Dora Bautista and I am the head marketer and chief operating executive at Bautista Marketing. And we're going to be discussing basics of branding, what a mission statement is, the most common types of marketing. I'm going to have some closing statements. I'll leave an opportunity for some questions and answers as well towards the end. And I also encourage that if you have any questions during the class, you can type them into the chat window. I'll address them during the end. But for those that couldn't attend and are watching this at a later date, it will be posted to our YouTube channel, and you can feel more than welcome to post your questions in the comment section, and I will respond to you there as well. And all the links to our social media at the end of the presentation, and as well as in the description for this video on Facebook and as well as on YouTube later. But before we get started, I really do want to thank you all. I want to let you guys know that I don't encourage any donations via the chat, but if you want to support our cause and business and found value in the class, then go ahead. You can find me on Vimeo, and you can just send it at our business at Bautista Marketing. And if you would like to, you can also do that via Cash App and PayPal as well. The details will be displayed at the end of the class, but for those who are watching at a later date on YouTube, those are going to be in the description as well. And here you have a little bit about me personally. I've worked in retail. I've been in different marketing campaigns for different retail companies at an early age, and I personally go through catered and tailored business plans and solutions. And a little bit about me. This is not my first venture into a small business. My first venture was back during the pandemic when it kicked off with Be Repair Computers. A little insight on me. I do have a certification in computer software and repair. I also am currently wrapping up my major at Prince George's Community College in Maryland for cybersecurity, as well as marketing and business administration. There is a little bit of a blurbs right there about the different things that we take care of, such as social media management, logo design, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and it's very multifaceted. But I found through my adventures through Be Repair Computers that I made my own marketing campaign on Instagram. I made my own Facebook page. I optimized my own website. It was highly effective. I still get clients. I still manage that page today to this date. And I decided to branch off once one of my clients had suggested to me that you're really good at marketing. You got a commercial clients, you've got residential clients. Maybe you can expand that and help with other businesses that aren't aware of all the different facets of marketing. But before we dive into this, I want to start with my own personalized quote about branding. And brand loyalty is not a one-time deal, it's a way of life. And what do I mean about this? We're going to find out more through the class, and I will dive deep into this. And at the end, you'll understand how this one quote directly impacts your business, right? There are many common misconceptions when it comes to the word brand. Now, can any of the most recognizable brands I've put on the screen today, that would be Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Sony. These are examples of company names. But my real question for most of you watching today is, when do these company names start to actually transcend into brand territory? Well, simply put, A brand is just an intangible marketing or business concept that helps people easily recognize a company, product, or even an individual. That does apply to those influencers that you see on Instagram or even on Facebook or affiliate marketers. This definitely applies because they can be considered a brand of them own selves. Now, we're going to still apply that brand definition to a company. So, we're going to take Apple. It's the easiest one. And what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear about Apple? iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, they're all innovative products that help identify with Apple. But those products are physical, they're tangible. I can touch it, I can feel it, I can experience it, right? So, why do people still choose Apple products? Well, it's through discovering and outreaching to their audience through their company's mission statement. So, here on the screen, you'll see that I've listed some of the top 5 most recognizable brands in the world, in addition to their logos that we saw earlier. And Apple's mission statement's right at the top. It's to bring the best user experience to its customers through its innovative hardware, software, and services. And when we think about this, if your company has a clearly defined mission statement, then identifying your target audience will help you to establish your brand. And I'm just going to say it in simple terms. It describes what your business does, who your business caters to, why it does things, how it does things. It's really basic. And for these other companies that I listed here, I just took random ones. I didn't compile the ones that are flamboyantly out there, you know what I mean? So Facebook, I'm using Facebook as a medium, and we're going to look at that mission statement too. To refresh the world in mind, body, and spirit, to inspire moments of optimism and happiness through our brands and actions, and to create value and make a difference. And when you sit there and reflect about that, Facebook has been entirely effective with that, using that mission statement as part of their branding strategy, directly or indirectly, whether consumers and clients realize it. Now, your mission statement, it can be very transparent, or it can be not, and it can also evolve. However, we're going to go back to the Apple example and dissect what comes into play when thinking about branding and a mission statement. And don't worry, this graphic I made, it's not going anywhere. And it will make sense in just a few moments. Don't worry if you can't really read the little fancy cursive that I have there. It's part of my brand. But I want everyone to try and think back of when the first iPhone was released. Now, I don't know the ages of everyone that's watching, or anyone watching in the future, or any of that, but I remember when the first iPhone was released. The first iPhone was released back in June of 2007, and what I want to do today to help you guys get an idea of how mission statements can tie into marketing and advertising, even in coherent or not apparent or transparent ways. We're going to look at their very first iPhone ad. And I've left the sources URL in the description for those who want to take a look at it later. And let's go ahead and take a look.
Hello?
Now,
Hello?
personally, they're going to say the same thing over and over. But I was in high school myself when this came out. When the phone came out, when the ad came out, and I remember the commercial very well.
How you doing there?
I just remember that people literally could not stop talking about it. And
Hello?
it was just excitement honored
Hello?
around
Hello?
this new device. It really was something that was innovative when you think about it. There you go. It's something that's simple and in 30 seconds. Now, I want everyone to realize that companies can and do evolve over time, and when you choose not to, it can cause you some marketing errors and advertising errors that are very detrimental. So, what about this commercial that made it so different? The phones at the time, in the early 2000s, were pretty much very similar, very standard. They all had a physical keyboard. Everyone wanted a Razor. Everyone wanted a Sony Ericsson. The camera was the same, the email interface was the same. But Apple, they took a few seconds to sit back and think there's room for innovation. Why can't we make a phone that doesn't have a physical keyboard? Why can't we start using this new touchscreen technology, which, by the way, for just a little bit back history, wasn't entirely new. It's just that some of these companies weren't using it. Samsung and the major ones at the time were not using it. So they made this 30-second advertisement that hit almost all of these aspects in the mission statement or components in the mission statement that I dissected myself and in their own, which is up above, in an easy, digestible 30-second showcase. The logo was apparent in the end. They showed the different clients, old, new, young, doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter what gender, it's for everybody, right? It targeted and showed the audience that they want. They want everyone in the world to know that it's there. Now their slogan, which also by the way can be evolved, it's sometimes known as a tagline, can be evolved and changed over time as well. It wasn't really apparent in this ad and marketing, but it doesn't always have to be. But the slogan for this particular ad was hello. Because when you pick up the phone, the first thing you're going to do is say hello, hopefully, right? The products were showcased at the end. It showcased what the phone would look like itself towards the end, which was fantastic, right? It also showcased the progression of phones through history by different actors. It showed how readily available in your mind, whether you realize it or not, that clients can also become these Hollywood actors. Depends on what it's for. Now, the philosophy, which is in the mission statement above, best user experience. It showcased it, and it even marketed to kids just a slight little bit. The services. Now, this particular ad itself didn't really show the services that Apple provides for an iPhone. The Apple has Apple Care. You pay for it. They want the money to stay within the Apple brand. If you have a question about setting up your MacBook, you can go to an Apple store. They'll be more than glad to see it. They should have a way where they showcase all of the immediate available products for you. And excuse me. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, I don't sell a product. I'm a service-based company. I'm a B2B company. B2B, business to business. Or B2C, business to consumer client, whatever way you want to say it. And that's fine. I sell a service, so how can my mission statement be reflect both a product and a service? You yourself can be the product that you're selling, if you think about it. And I assure you that they can be used interchangeably. For an example, let's say you only sell helmets, bike helmets. This is random. I always do this on my daily Instagram live. I'll point out a random object I see on my walk doing something random throughout the week as an example for a company. And usually it's flowers, but this time it's going to be a bike. And you might think it wise to ignore services for that said helmet in your mission statement. That might be a mistake, and you might cause some marketing errors because if something arises where you get negative feedback, you didn't really pre-plan for how you want to have someone come back to get more of your helmets or how you want to fix it if there's a crack or something. You don't want to neglect that in your mission statement, let alone as part of your business plan and marketing. That's the most important thing in marketing, though. It doesn't have to be that grandiose. The familiarity, the ease of use, and sometimes status can be associated with Apple. And I want to make this very clear. Brands are not logos, and Apple is not just the Apple logo itself. It encompasses many different things. They hire innovators. They hire people who are willing to think outside of their norms so that they can push out these innovative products that would give someone a better user interface. And when I say status, if you sit in a train, if you sit in a store and watch people walk by you without being too weird or awkward, look at what kind of phone they're holding. You can tell right away when someone has an iPhone versus when someone has an Android or a Windows phone if someone's using that. You can tell right away, and I did this experiment myself recently where I sat on a train going to one of my clients and I just said, you know what, I'm going to look around as non-creepily as I can to see how many people I see holding an iPhone near me that I can see within my vision. And overwhelmingly, I want to say in my train car, it was about 75%. And they were all different ages, young, old, the children, with these expensive $1,200 phones. Because it doesn't mean that it's brands. Oh, you have this X amount of money, so you can have this brand. Remember, brands are not logos, but they also provide a great and decent marketing strategy. Now, I want to go towards my business's personal mission statement and reflect on its personal philosophy. Now, our mission statement is to create work that matters. We connect brands and their audiences, making impactful work that fuels business growth. Now, let's take a look at all those dissections of the Venn diagram of the aspects of a mission statement that I made. Remember, verbiage is always important. Adjectives are important. Adverbs are important. We're going to reflect on philosophy, connecting brands and their audience. That's the action I want. Now, my slogan isn't in this mission statement particularly. My mission statement is listed on websites, in my website, but my slogan is also as well. It's on my social media. It's definitely on my Instagram. It's on my LinkedIn. It's on my Facebook. It's everywhere. Twitter, everywhere. That I want to make sure that's associated with Bautista Marketing Services. And that slogan is very simple. Be bold, be smart, be digital, think outside the office. The services that I provide, branding strategy, consultation, management, education. Again, I said I was very multifaceted, but those are part of the services I provide. And in my mission statement, I say I connect brands and their audiences. So your audience is also my audience. It's a dual relationship for me as a person and individual. Now, some people will not do that in their mission statement or in their business model, and that's totally fine. The products that I provide, the audience I cater to. Now, I am, by all means, a B2B business, so I'm looking at small businesses, startups, entrepreneurs to educate. I also do these classes every now and then. The consumer, even if you're unsure of what your mission statement is, it can and will evolve over time. It's a very guaranteed thing that happens. And if your mission statement or your marketing or any of that doesn't evolve over time, you start to have some problems. Bear with me for a second. I do apologize. The most recent to memory unfortunate example of that would be Blockbuster. I'm a 90s kid. I'm a millennial. So I remember how prominent Blockbuster was. To just go there, rent a video, bring it back. I had a great time watching videos with my siblings and my family. But all of a sudden, they started tapering off. And here comes Netflix. Like, some people think that Netflix was out of nowhere. No, Netflix was always there. They were there. The issue from a marketing standpoint is that Blockbuster truly just didn't want to evolve. They didn't want to innovate at the time. And they didn't want to adjust their marketing strategy. And when I say that they did it too late. And Netflix was already taking over the game. So it's important to always know that you have to give yourself room to growth or you're going to lose out on those potential clients. Mission statement doesn't have to be set in stone. Your slogan doesn't have to be set in stone. Your logo doesn't have to be set in stone. It can change. It's ever evolving. But think about that as well on reflection of logos. I'm going to touch base on this just really quickly because I've seen it on my Instagram. I've seen it with potential clients that have messaged me. I'm not getting the clients and consumers I want. My audience doesn't seem to respond to my logo. What do I do? Now, initially, this was going to be a daily live little blurb I was going to do, but I'm going to address it here. A common mistake is either cheaping out on a logo, thinking you can do it yourself, or not really sitting down and analyzing it. Now, I know I'm contradicting myself because I said things evolve, right? Yes, but if you start out with, let's say, I don't know, a nail salon. And you know somebody that's really good at graphic design and they do cartoons. I see this consistently. It's not hilarious, it's not funny in all sense of forms. But they do a nice little cartoon where you're in your nice salon garb and everything, and you're shown painting nails and smiling, and it's cute, right? And you're getting your following, you're getting, these likes and these shares, and people are adding you to your collection on Instagram, but you're not seeing the growth that you would want, and you're a little confused, and then you see this potential to franchise, and no one wants to franchise out with you because, quite frankly, they think that your logo is childish. So make sure that your logo can reflect the people you want to attract. If you want to change it and evolve, make sure you're consistent and make sure it's apparent throughout all of your content that you're posting out on social media and that you're putting it on your website. Confusion equals loss of customers, okay? Now we're going to get into the bread, meat, and butter. Now, again, there are different types of marketing, and I want people to encourage letting me know if I miss something on the comments later on, especially if you're watching later on YouTube. But definitely let me know which ones are familiar to you and which ones you would like to get to know better, because every day is a learning process in a business. Every day is research. Every day is analyzing. Wow. Analyzing. So, just let me know. Just let me know. Now, I do want to say that this is nowhere near an exhaustive itemized list of all the marketing types. These are the most common ones that businesses use to get clients and also expand their brand awareness. And I would like to add that we at Bautista Marketing Services specialize in these and many more that aren't mentioned in today's class. So, let's go ahead and start. This is content marketing, and it's simply... Oh no, there we go. Okay. Content marketing, it's simply the focus of creating valuable content to your audience. On the screen here, you're going to see the list that I created personally for the pros and cons of using content marketing as a strategy. We're going to go through the cons real quick. And that would be, your content causes readers to react emotionally. Your content causes your readers to react emotionally. When I say that, they're either going to get upset, which we hope we don't get, happy, which is ideal, shock, which is in that weird gray zone, and they'll share it. Whatever emotion it is, let's be honest, they'll share and react to it. Have you ever been on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, where you've seen that video that makes you laugh, and instantly, without thinking about it, you share it? That's content marketing in its finest. The next one would be you increase your chances of spreading viral content by posting it on social media. So we're going to hop off that little example there. Something made you laugh on TikTok. Again, I'm not on TikTok. I'm debating that as a business move. And again, TikTok is for some businesses and some of them are not. But let's say you made this weird video that made all of your followers. Let's say your following is 1,000, which is pretty good, right? And you made this video, and all of your followers, which semi-unrealistic but is, see it, they react to it, they heard it, they share it, they share it, they share it. All thousands of these people share it to their followers, and they see it on their page, right? And then it's just scaling. When you use content marketing, you want to think about the scalability too, and the shareability. So if it's something that engages your audience and makes them react emotionally, the chances are you can tap into that viral sense. It's not just for influencers. It's not just for people who get famous instantly overnight. It can be used for businesses as well. Your reputation is a key tool that you can use to make people pay attention to what you have to say. I use this in my form of content marketing personally on my Instagram, where I use my wit. This part of my personality. I'm fun, I'm loving, I'm ongoing, and I'm out there. And I use that as part of my content marketing strategy personally. With the daily IG lives, someone asks me a question, someone sends me a comment, something blurps up in my head. I'm going to make that daily live, push it out, react to people right then and there like I am on the live. And I do think about the possibility of scalability and sense of it going viral, but more or less, I'm there doing it to make sure people paying attention to what I have to say. And when they're paying attention to what I have to say, they're more likely to go back and look at my website, go back and look at my other social media and say, hey, this is a person I want to work with, or hey, this is a person that needs to be shared to someone else who might need their services. Content marketing does that. Now, that's the final part of the pros, is that it brings potential clients and customers to you. I'm not even going to go back over that because I just said it there. Now, conventional marketing methods can be an obstacle to innovation, is one of the major cons to content marketing. And when I say conventional marketing, there is no set in stone rules for marketing, but an example of traditional marketing slash conventional marketing would be, you know how you're on the highway, you see those high up billboards that only people can see in planes or people driving by. Those are conventional, semi conventional, but mostly traditional. People have used those throughout the 90s, and I'm planning, just to give you guys a heads up if you're following me on any of my media, to do a case study about traditional marketing methods. It doesn't leave a lot of room for innovation because there's these guidelines and this little box that you have to fit your content in for it to fit on a poster to go there. Plus, you need the money for it. And let's say, you want to put your posters on buses and in bus stations. They have their own guidelines for what your content can say, can be, can't be offensive, can't be abusive, it can't denote certain things, and whatever that person's conventions are, that's what your content needs to fit. And it doesn't allow you to be as creative as you would like to be on a medium such as Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. And that's going to touch base on my second con, which is it gets expensive. But the investment sometimes can be more worth it than the money and the ROI. And ROI is just a short-term way of saying return on investment. So let's say that billboard you spend, and I'm throwing out random numbers, $8,000 for it to sit there for a month. Again, this is not an actual expense for someone who wants to put a billboard up somewhere. And you get maybe 8 clients, and each of those clients spend $800. Well, it really wasn't worth your investment if you think about it. And ROI is a whole little rabbit hole that I'm more than willing to make another class on. And the last one is it can be confusing. It's very hard to be innovative. It's very hard, if you're new to this, to have content coming out that's always witty, it's always shocking, and being creative, and make sure you're not sharing the same stuff and you're not boring people. It can be very confusing. So now I'm going to show you guys an example, most recent, that's easiest to see, is the Share a Coke campaign from Coca-Cola. You can go into a Walmart, a Target, a small store, 7-Eleven, pick up a Coke, look at it, and it has a name or a statement on it, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to look for the one with my name on it, or I'm going to look for the one that I identify with the most, right? The main reason why that campaign is successful and is still a successful business branding strategy for Coca-Cola is because it creates value through personalization. There's nothing more valuable than you as an individual, right? People will seek out a Share a Coke with their name. They will actively do it. And research shows that about 74% of marketers know that. And know that it increases customer engagement, increases buzz about the product, but only a small percentage of them actually use it. But Coke, still to this day, is doing it. And then at some point, and I'm not sure if this is still a thing, you can go on their website and order a caseload with just your name on it. Now, for me, I haven't found one with my name, but I found one that says mom or friend or family or something witty that I personally identify with. And I'm like, I'm not even thirsty, but I think that's cool and I want that empty bottle and I'm taking it. It's an effective example of content marketing. Now we're going to talk about social media marketing briefly. It's easily defined in its name. You're just using different social media platforms to achieve your marketing and brand goals. So we're speaking right to the crowd by using the right platform. You're creating accounts that represent your brand and they're cohesive. So if you have a Facebook business account and Facebook page, most likely you're going to have an Instagram and they go together, right? Then if you're going to do that, you might have a Google My Business page listing. Then you're going to also have YouTube, hopefully. You don't have to have every single social media marketing tool available to you. It depends on what your business's goals are. For example, if you're a business to business, it might be more effective for you to start thinking about doing your marketing solely on LinkedIn as a platform for businesses so you can get those other business clients. Because if you try to do it on Facebook, which you still can, you'll get people to like you, but most likely they're regular clients or regular everyday people who don't have a small business. But they can still spread the word for you. Consistently posting, you should have a semi consistent or consistent post schedule. You don't have to post every day. You don't have to have 10 posts a day. Research shows that the average of 3 posts a day, maybe one story on Instagram, 2 or 3 reels a week, and you still should be having those influxes of followers and engagement that you like. Because if you don't post consistently, you're not going to get the engagement, feedbacks, and analytics that you want. And then most likely people aren't seeing you. Promotion is vital. So if you're having a sale, if you're doing something like I'm doing right now, putting out those ads, making sure people are talking about it, posting in different groups, posting it on Twitter, posting it on LinkedIn, making sure people are aware that this is a thing. Make sure you have time to engage with your followers. I was watching a video on YouTube, and I can't remember the channel, and if I do, I will put it in the description, where the person spent about an hour every day responding to comments, messages, all that kind of stuff. 1 hour engaging with clients, just that's all they did, and they saw it improve on their follow and like rates. And when I say follow and like rates, remember that is never an indicator of how your business is actually doing. Follows and likes are not an indication, it's not a key performance indicator, KPI of that your business is thriving. But back to that, they spent that time talking to it, so the word got around that they're actively engaging, they're actively engaging, they're actively engaging, they're actively engaging. Another example of recent to mind, Wendy's. They are known for their witty comeback. Even I can't think that witty back. So whoever's in their department doing marketing, whether it's a team of 10 people or just one person, shout out to you. If you ask at Wendy USA a question on Twitter, and they come back with the best slapbacks you have ever seen, and people heart it, they retweet it, and it's a great marketing tool. And then you start to think, well, let me go back and see what else Wendy's has going on. Oh, they have this promotion for this breakfast item. Works out great, right? Now, I'm going to show you the best, in my opinion. And again, there's a multifaceted of examples for social media marketing. That's my favorite, and it was my favorite last year, which is the Spotify Wrapped. Now, this campaign started back in 2016, and it is still ongoing. What do consumers like? Just like with content marketing, it's that personalization factor. The more personalized something is, it makes people feel more open-minded and welcoming to the response it can be. Even if competition is doing the same, and in the case of Spotify, Apple was. And as long as there's a little bit of twist of innovation, it can be effective. Through this tactic, Spotify encouraged its users to share on Wrapped Up on their social media, which gives them exposure, Spotify themselves exposures. But in order to see your personalized, wrapped up summary of all the music you listen to on Spotify, you gotta use their platform consistently. It won't work for someone who only, pays for Spotify 6 months out the year. And if they don't use it that often through those 6 months out the year, they're not gonna get this little quirky thing that tells them, hey, your number one artist is this. For me, the thing that I love the most, it even told me what my mood and general like was. It gave a nice little story. So I shared it, and it works, if you think about it. Now, whew, we're almost there, people. We're almost there. The PPC versus SEO. PPC stands for pay per click. It's an advertising marketing method where a business or a person pays for advertising only when the ads are clicked on. If no one clicks on your ad, that's it. Now, you are in control sometimes in these PPC situations. They're going to use your own content. Like Facebook ads does that. They're going to use whatever content you pre-created, and then they're going to spam it out to the destinations, areas, and regions you want with people who have these select interests that you have, your target audience. This is mostly implemented on Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn even does it, and I believe Twitter does it as well. And it's very effective because you can optimize the cost. You can tell it how much you want to spend per day. You can tell how much you want to spend per week, per month. You can do multiple of them. You don't have to have just one PPC ad going. It all depends. And when you're doing PPC, whether it's for likes, for event engagement, whether it's for visits to your website so you can start doing CTRs and conversions, it will provide you the traffic and exposure you need. And it'll give you an idea of who's really responding to it. Because if you use it in terms and hand in hand with Google Analytics or HubSpot or a CRM, it shows you what's effective for your marketing and your branding. Now, SEO, SEM go hand in hand. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and SEM stands for search engine marketing, and it's just a method of improving your website's page search result visibility. There is tons of research showing that most average people don't go beyond the third page of a Google search. They don't. So if your business is not pulling in one of those 3 pages, no one knows who you are. And you can increase that visibility by associating your business with keywords and other data so those algorithms can start crawling and ranking it accordingly. And it's used, again, so that you can show up first. It provides organic leads, growth, sales, brand presence is increased. And when you use it in terms and hand in hand with PPC, you're maximizing your content marketing and potential. If you optimize your website, your blog with certain keywords and they're consistent with certain hashtags on your Twitter, then there's no reason why someone would Google you and you come up on the second page and everything about your business from your website, your blog, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn should all be pooling together. And that increases your exposure. Even if your business name is slightly similar to someone else's, or, it all depends. I made a video on my daily live about a week ago about something like this, where if you're not optimizing for SEO, it's like you don't even exist. And it's true. Because if you're Googling for a purpose, let's say you are, and I'm doing a look around because I am home today, small mom and pop gaming store. And you don't want to go to GameStop, you don't want to go to Walmart, you don't want to go to Target. And shout out to any small business owners that do specialize in gaming, video game repair, or anything like that. And you say, I want to look for small mom and pop store within 10 miles of me that sells video games and controllers. Regardless of what you put up, you already know Walmart, Target, all those places, Best Buy, are going to pop up first. The best thing you can do is make sure that your keywords are associated with what they're looking for, and that you also have Google My Business present. If you don't have Google My Business present, it's gonna make life a little bit difficult. All right. So now I'm going to show you some of the key elements of SEO that are shown here. For those that are not familiar, these are the most important factors in populating yourself to a top ranking in a search. Association is the key to get the algorithm to just see you and give you a distinguished presence. Now, I can help you with that, and we can help you educate you even, and get you set up for SEO on your blogs, your websites, your social media, and that and third. And the same is also true for PPC. And remember, again, that these can be used together, and although it is daunting and can be confusing, it is effective. But for the sake of time, we're going to dive into SEO and PP in another class, webinar, and all that. And that one will be paid because it is multifaceted. All right. This is the last thing about marketing before we get to the crux of it. Market research. What is it? It's just the process of analyzing, interpreting data about your industry, your market, competition, and audience. Why do you want to do it? To support and provide business insight into decisions related to products and services, development, branding, and the customer experience. And how do you do it? And I listed these 5 ways that businesses do it. Now you don't have to have a really huge R&D department like a company like Walmart or Target where they're looking actively all the time. If you take the time to really figure out who you're marketing to, if you find a way to get your ideal client, a persona, write it out, figure out why they're looking for you, the problem that they're looking for you to solve. I don't know if any of you remember, like if you're in middle school and high school, you learned about the scientific method. That applies indefinitely in marketing as well. There are processes in marketing to help you come to these conclusions through your data. The importance of market research will align with your business goals and your mission statement. And again, not every company will focus on these aspects, and that's okay. It's an individual choice. I do personally do market research to see who's responding to my ads, and I use that in tandem with Google Analytics, HubSpot, and several other factors. Page insights. Instagram provides you those insights. So does WordPress if that's what you're using to build your website. There's so many different ways to see what's actually going on with your content. And when you're defining this problem, you need to know what you're trying to solve. You don't want to sit there and just try to market to whoever and whatever bites first, I'm reeling them in. You want to use the problem approach, which is how are you going to solve this problem? Think of it as a step in developing a thesis. And I say thesis because I do love science and love things like that. You need to make sure that it's coherent. What about your research design? What ways and steps are you going to go about collecting this information? The data collection and processing step, what's your control group? What's the length of time the data is collected? And then how are you taking that information and seeing how it's related to the problem that you're trying to solve for a client? And analysis reporting. Google Analysis, like I keep hammering, you're sharing this information who it directly needs to impact. So whether that's through a case study, stakeholders, other people in your business, your R&D department, there are ways that these are found. Okay, so here I showed the 4 kinds of market research, and these are the ones that I prefer personally. Again, this is multifaceted, and there's many that go along with it. Focus groups. So that ties into the data collection and processing step, right? Who am I focusing on? Am I focusing on 18 to 35 males who live in Texas that like baby shoes and I'm a baby business? I don't know why I said that. Okay. The interviews, it's also part of the data collection and processing and the research design. Getting feedback about how your product is doing, how your services are changing and making an impact to others helps with growth. Surveys, same thing as interviews. Well, how many of you enjoyed the experience you liked today? I know that when I pick up a prescription from a pharmacy, sometimes they send me a text saying, "Hey, this is did you like our experience? What was your general experience?" The fourth one is the most important, and it ties back to an example I made earlier, which is Blockbuster. Are you still keeping up with the trends? Are you aware of them? Are you ignoring them because you think it's going to cost you too much? If Blockbuster took the time, and this is my personal opinion, and it's varied, again, this is my personal opinion. If Blockbuster took the time to actually understand, which I think they did, the trends going on at the time as Netflix became more prominent, instead of trying to play catch up, they could have just been a little bit more innovative. And they could have been innovative way before Netflix came more into the scene. Don't get too comfortable in the seat that you are in. Always think, I can evolve. The final and last one, mobile marketing. This is short and sweet. Mobile marketing is advertising to consumers via smartphones and tablets. It's solely focused on that. But there's a little caveat to it. Mobile optimized ads. So you know that when you're on a website, you get those banner ads at the top. Same thing can apply in an app that you're using or a game. It's to encourage an engagement or a purchase and part of the buyer's journey, right? Push notifications. I have a solitaire phone on a game on my phone. And I know that if it's been too long, I haven't engaged in it, it's going to spam me up. And I say spam loosely. Hey, would you like to add X amount of dollars to your campaign for this discounted price so you can earn and flip your money? Something like that is most commonly used in games. Apps. Sorry. This goes in tandem with the first point. Apps. So if you're a tech company and you're providing a service that you think you want to do, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to make it abundantly clear whether you're listing that app for free or not. It's available on all the stores. It's available on the Apple Store. It's available on Google Play. It's available on Amazon. And you're advertising your products and services, encouraging leads to fill out information, cater to whatever marketing goal it is. Um, SMS, so text messaging. It happens all the time. Hey, have you learned about our campaign? Hey, we haven't heard from you for a while. What's going on? Hey, can you fill out this quick feedback survey? Hey, did you know that we're having a sale? The most recent example for me for text message mobile marketing is Chipotle. They do that, and it's ingenious. Hey, this is October, and come in at this time wearing a costume, and you can get a $2 burrito. Like, it's ingenious. It's ingenious, and it's funny. Location based. So if you have your GPS on, or whether you're using an app, whether you're using a game, sometimes based on where you are, it geopopulates and you get ads specifically for the area you're in. I don't really see it that often, but it does happen. Voice assistants. This is a new one that is very much neglected. Voice assistants like Siri, voice assistants like Alexa, voice assistants like Cortana, voice assistants like uh, the Google thing. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm not sure about
See,
that.
I have one behind me. So when you're talking to these things, especially if you're using Alexa, you just talk to her and say, "Hey Alexa, what's the most cheapest thing that I can buy near me?"
I can help reorder everyday items, track your deliveries, add to your shopping list, or answer
There you
product
go.
questions.
That is an
If
example of
it's
mobile
service,
marketing. It's
it's
not
easy
really
to use,
used that much,
like
but Amazon's
order
very
double
good at
again.
using it. It'll even ask you, "Hey, do you want to save that for your buy to later list?" It's a genius too. So here we go. We've reached the end of our webinar class today, and I would like to say it has been an absolute pleasure to write this out, engage with people, give out some information and education, and I love to share that information with people. I truly do. This is a passion for me, and I do like to see small businesses succeed, and I totally understand and empathize with the struggles of marketing when you're fresh and brand new, and how it may seem daunting and expensive. But my business was made with that forefront in mind, that marketing for another company to their client audiences is the same as marketing for myself to the business that contacted me in the first place. Personalization. uh Now, I don't believe I have much time left in terms of questions, but you're more than welcome to message me directly on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of our social media fronts and platforms. You can comment and I will respond accordingly. uh, One of the common questions that I get, because we do international marketing, is, will this be available in another language? I am working on getting a translation made available where I will do voiceover with me, of course, in Spanish completely. But if you're watching this on YouTube at a future date, you can just go to the captions and select Spanish as the language, or Portuguese if it so is the thing. But most of my content is done in English. A very common question is, what platforms are we on? Again, those are in the description. I get questions consistently about what are my pricings. The reasons why I cannot give you direct pricing is because I need to know more about you as an individual, which is why we do the free analysis, where you simply just fill out the form on our website, give me one URL. You don't have to give me all your URLs. You can just give me your website and say, "Hey, I just want a free analysis of what you think about my page, and what's your generalization going to be for the price range for me," and I will send that out to you within a day or two. And usually, if something is not to the liking of the client, I talk to them, figure out what's really the issue. It's part of the buyer's journey. Uh, but I never can give someone a direct price like, hey, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. The issue is multifaceted. So you might need several different services from me. So that's the main thing right there. Another common question, because we do international. Where do you do international marketing? We do international marketing for all over the globe, primarily anywhere in the United States, in basically the Western Hemisphere, to be honest. So Canada, United States, Central and Latin America, South America. We also have had clients in South Africa as well. We've had some clients in Egypt. We've had clients all over, and and I don't let language be a barrier. I do speak about three languages myself, including English, Spanish, French. I am learning Portuguese. I'm okay with it, but it's a process. Um, but I encourage you again, if you have more questions, you go into the comment section, you message me on Instagram, you message me on Facebook, you message me on Twitter. And I am patient as well. So I implore you guys to be patient, especially if there is a time difference. Whether it's in the United States, it's a time difference, or you're somewhere in Colombia. Um, so I'm gonna go with that in mind. I'm gonna go ahead and show you where you can find us on social media: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. You just search for our name, we'll pop right on up. I always encourage, a future viewer to go there. Again, if you loved our content, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on these other platforms as well. Your support is what keeps us going. The feedback allows for me to tailor my content directly to people who need it. Now, at the end of this, if you did find my value in this content, because I gave this first course entirely free, and it did take time to build it, you can make donations to the methods listed in the description, as well as these listed here. We're on PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. And I just want to thank everyone that spent the time to attend. And I'm hoping wherever you're watching from, whether it's night, day, midday, you're enjoying a tea, drinking a water, that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And keep a lookout on our Facebook and Instagram pages specifically for when I'm going to do another free class or when I'm going to do another paid class. And with that, guys, keep your Rebology caps on.